Our great leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu goes to court tomorrow, March 21st, 2025. Elohim will see us through. Meanwhile, a legal icon, barrister Christopher Chidera, has described the plan by the Nigeria government to commence the trial of the detained leader of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, as an exercise in futility that will not stand the test of time. Kanu will on March 21st, 2025 appear before a new judge, Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court. His call that the trial judge Binta Nyako must recuse herself and vowed not to appear in court until an impartial judge is appointed to preside over the case. The lawyer, in a statement made available to journalists on Wednesday in Abuja, said the legal basis for Kanu's prosecution will fail owing to the repeal of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013, under which he was initially charged. Chidera argued that since the act is no longer in force, any attempt to prosecute Kanu under it lacks substantive jurisdiction and violates the principle of stare decisis, which ensures legal consistency, adding that if the government rely on a repealed statute, the trial could be deemed procedurally untenable, undermining its legitimacy and effectiveness. The statement read, "The question of whether the Nigerian government can effectively prosecute Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on March 21st, 2025, given jurisdictional challenges, hinges on several legal, procedural, and political factors that have emerged in his ongoing case." Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, faces a trial that has been mired in controversy since his arrest and rendition from Kenya in June 2021. Below is an analysis of the key jurisdictional challenges and their potential impact on the government's ability to prosecute him effectively on the specified date. One significant jurisdictional challenge is the claim that the legal basis for Kanu's prosecution may be flawed due to the repeal of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013, under which he was initially charged. Legal opinions, including those from human rights lawyer barrister Christopher Chidera, argue that since this act is no longer in force, any attempt to prosecute Kanu under it lacks substantive jurisdiction and violates the principle of stare decisis, which ensures legal consistency. If the government relies on a repealed statute, the trial could be deemed procedurally untenable, undermining its legitimacy and effectiveness. However, the government might counter this by amending the charges to align with current laws, such as the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, though it's unclear if such charges have been formally served to Kanu's legal team as of now. Another jurisdictional issue stems from Kanu's extraordinary rendition from Kenya, which his legal team and international observers, including a 2023 U.S. Human Rights Report, have labeled unlawful. This raises questions about Nigeria's procedural jurisdiction, as the extradition process allegedly bypassed legal norms under both Nigerian and international law. Kanu's team has argued that this kidnapping invalidates the court's authority to try him, a contention partially supported by a 2022 appeal court ruling that discharged him due to the illegality of his rendition, though the government has not complied with this ruling. If the court on March 21st, 2025, accepts this argument, it could halt the trial entirely, rendering prosecution ineffective. The venue of the trial also poses a challenge. Kanu's legal team has contended that the case should be heard in the southeast, where the alleged offenses occurred, rather than Abuja. They argue that the Federal High Court in Abuja lacks territorial jurisdiction, a position bolstered by the claim that the Terrorism Prevention and Amendment Act does not confer universal jurisdiction on Abuja's courts. If this argument gains traction with the new judge, Justice James Omotosho, it could lead to a transfer or dismissal, further complicating the government's efforts. He added that Kanu's decision to represent himself on March 21st, 2025, would expose corruption, inconsistencies, and bias in the Nigeria justice system, introduces a wild card. His self-representation could expose judicial inconsistencies or bias, potentially turning the trial into a platform to challenge the government's case rather than a conventional prosecution. This move, combined with his prior success in forcing Justice Binta Nyako's recusal in September 2024, suggests he may exploit jurisdictional disputes to disrupt proceedings, making an effective prosecution harder to achieve. Politically, the trial's legitimacy is under scrutiny. Critics argue it has devolved into persecution rather than prosecution, citing prolonged detention without conviction and repeated adjournments, like the indefinite postponement in February 2025, as evidence of bad faith. This perception could pressure the court to rule in Kanu's favor on jurisdictional grounds, especially under international and domestic watch. In conclusion, the Nigerian government faces substantial hurdles in effectively prosecuting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on March 21, 2025. Jurisdictional challenges, ranging from the repealed legal framework, the unlawful rendition, the trial's venue, to Kanu's strategic self-defense, could collectively undermine the case's validity and execution. While the government might attempt to adapt by reframing charges or asserting authority, these issues suggest that an effective prosecution remains uncertain, potentially leading to further delays, a transfer, or even dismissal. The outcome will likely depend on how Justice Omotosho interprets these challenges in the context of Nigerian law and Kanu's formidable defense. Don't forget to pray for our great leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in a very special way today for tomorrow's victory. Stay tuned.
United States have expressed dissatisfaction over the manner the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, is being prosecuted on allegations bordering on terrorism. A statement signed by Dr. Sylvester Onya, Avid President, and the Rising Sun President Dede Maswell, said Kanu has no case to answer on the grounds that he was discharged and acquitted by a competent court of law. The groups are, however, calling for his immediate release and have expressed lack of confidence on Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, who has been assigned to hear the case against Kanu. They also reminded the judge that the decision or choice he makes in trial of Kanu will either uphold or destroy Nigeria. The American-based groups further noted Kanu case inherited by President administration with the awareness that legality cannot be piled atop illegality when the entire world is watching.
Our correspondent Barcelo Cathrock about this report.
The
I thought of Biafra freedom taking longer, and cause of that you tend to feel so low. I know our freedom is your greatest hunger. I thought of Biafra keeps your heart aglow. We will walk the line, this hell that we've known with time, gotta take it away. Just hold on and don't let go. Hold on, do not let go. Just hold on and don't let go. Your fly's just a step away. Just hold on. Hold on, do not let go. Just hold on and don't let go. Your fly's just a step away. Our history has never known no laughter. It's always been this red and black, no green. A nation of this blessed yet hungry people. We shine a brighter light the world will see. We will touch the skies and set up a throne on high and reign without God. Just hold on and don't let go. Hold on, do not let go. Just hold on and don't let go. Your fly's just a step away. Just hold on. Hold on, do not let go. Just hold on and don't let go. Your fly's just a step away. Tell me now, can't you see and don't you know? Your fly's just a